What are you drinking today?
My guilty pleasure, a rock star.
This episode is off to a whack start.
Is it a guilty pleasure if you have it like 3 times a week? Or is that just a normal pleasure?
I think that's just a pleasure.
That's just regular pleasure.
So would you say when you drink Rockstar, you're pleasuring yourself?
All right, that's enough.
I'm drinking a Noon tablet.
Every time. Okay.
A hoe can't be
My
dehydrated.
knee still really hurts. I don't know what the hell.
Do you want some Midol?
What's that?
It's meant for period cramps.
I think that's a different part of the body.
Well, that's what I have.
Your period makes your like knee pop out of place.
It makes weird things happen for sure.
If you are hearing this right now, it means we're covering some graphic topics in today's episode.
This is a true crime and paranormal podcast. There's going to be some murder. Hello. Welcome to Archive. Murder mystery, all around mayhem. That's Ben.
That's Bayli.
And this is Archive. Already said it. We're like all over the place this morning, but that's fine. Shout out to our one listener in Dublin.
Yeah.
We saw you on our analytics. Thanks.
Yeah. I want to shout out like all the different places.
We have a couple in Australia, one in Dublin, few of you in like Sweden, Finland. Finland, I think, is primarily Spotify. I don't know if it'll show up on the RSS feed, but anyways, my case this week, the episode's probably going to be fairly short because guess what? As usual, I have no time to finish writing new cases.
Yeah, we're back in school now.
Well, I'm back in school and I have to finish an art piece for an upcoming show and then also finish my grad school applications. So I have been incredibly busy. Hence the shorter episode today. Sorry about it. Oh well. Oh my god, I started Euphoria.
It's so good, right?
That shit is whack. I think the people who wrote this show were so out of touch with high school. It's definitely people in their like 40s. What were you? You were playing Minecraft in high school. Okay, you were not having these ragers
Yeah, you're right,
and
you're
popping
right.
like in Molly.
I feel like that might be how it is now, though.
17? No, it's not.
Not as insane like as Euphoria.
I don't know. Maybe I'm
They
just
go
old.
off, but it's not.
That's not what I was doing in high school. I was a band geek in high school.
I guess the things they're worried about seem to make sense. Well, until...
But it's just like...
I don't want to spoil anything, but, you know.
Yeah, I'm only on episode 2. They're trying to fit so much drama into, like, these, like, small episodes. It's like, okay, I could understand, like, maybe one person in the friend group has something, like, whack going on. But, like, everybody's got their own...
everyone always has their own stuff going on.
I know, but, like,
that's real life.
They're all, like, normally it's, like... Everybody has problems, but then there's like trauma level problems.
Oh yeah.
Everybody has trauma level problems.
Yeah.
I feel like every time so far that I've said, all right, I want to do my case, we just immediately into another subject.
That's okay. We had to warm up.
Me. Warmed up. All right. This week, kind of grisly. So if you...
Perfect.
I know we put the warning at the beginning of every podcast, but this case kind of murdery. So if you're squeamish, watch out.
Watch yourself.
This week we're covering the Thames Torso Murders. I
The
literally
Torso Murders?
in all caps I wrote remember to do disclaimer at the top. Grisly. That's what I wrote.
Jesus. Okay.
American me wants to pronounce this Thames, Thames. Thames, but I'm pretty sure it's the
if it has an H in there, I would want to say Thames. Yeah.
Should we say the Thames? Because I thought it was the Thames.
Thames is weird if it has an H.
I know, but the British talk weird.
Look it up. I don't know. The British speak weird. They speak wrong.
Okay, how do we say this?
So I actually put a Noon tablet in my Rockstar.
Okay, here we go. How do we pronounce this? Man on YouTube.
Flows through southern England, including, of course, London. It flows for about 215 miles.
What the fuck?
We are looking at how to pronounce Thames River.
Thames.
Bruh, come on. That is...
I'm pretty sure
That's
this guy...
too far.
I'm pretty sure this guy is French anyways. Okay, I'm going to say Thames from now on.
The Thames Torso.
Oh wait, that's
What
Italian.
the fuck was that?
I thought you were doing a French accent, so I did the like hands, but that's Italian.
Oh my god. You're supposed to be the accent expert.
Hey, accents, all right, not gestures.
Okay.
Anyways, okay, credit where credit's due. I get a lot of this from Netflix. There's this new show that I'm obsessed with. Well, it's not new.
Love You Will Never Stop Watching.
Yeah, that's good. Anyways, it's called Murder Maps. It's really cool, and I watched an episode about the Brighton trunk murders, and they mentioned this case briefly in that episode, so I just went down a little Google rabbit trail.
Shoot,
And
I
here
don't
we
think
are.
I know about the Brighton trunk murders.
I'll cover it eventually.
Okay.
I mean, that was a really good episode, but anyways, truecrimedatabase.com, my fave. Are we ready, folks?
Oh, do you?
Wikipedia. We'll love you.
But
What? Love
What the
you. We'll never
Or
donate. I said, we'll love you.
yeah, you
never
threw me
donate.
off there for a second.
That was an opinion. The love you, will never donate is an opinion.
Hate You Will Definitely Donate.
Will love you, never donate is a statement. Anti-Wikipedia
Oh my god.
campaign.
Jesus.
That's our merch.
That's messed up.
Do not donate to Wikipedia. Just kidding. If your heart so desires, you should donate.
Oh my god.
You know what I've just realized? I have worn these exact jeans every time we have done an episode.
No, I think I
on
did
video.
notice that actually.
I promise I own more than one pair of pants.
She doesn't wash them either. I can
I
smell
do.
her from here.
That's you.
That's
You're the
I
one who
just
said
took
you.
a shower.
You're the one who said you had to take a shit.
Not anymore.
This squint. You look like Casper. Anyways. And then I read a couple of, I forgot we were talking about the case. I did a couple of British newspaper articles as well as the book Sons of Cain, which kind of inspired me to find more torso murders because the Sons of Cain book opens with a chapter about the Cleveland torso murderer.
Inspired me to find some more torso murders.
Well, there's a bunch. You have the Cleveland torso murders. You have the Times Square torso murders. Obviously, the Brighton trunk murders were torsos as well. Anyways, lots of torsos happening. But
Or not happening.
no, they were happening.
Getting unhappened.
Getting unhappened.
Yeah.
That would probably be
Jesus.
limbs getting unhappened.
Oh, yeah. And then it's the torso's
And then you're
intact,
left
I
with the
guess.
torso.
Yeah.
I don't want to debate the science of this. The Thames Torso
science.
Murders is a series of incredibly infamous grisly murders in the 18th century in London. They're often called the Thames Mysteries or the Embankment Murders. So it goes by a few different names, but all of those names refer to the same set of murders from, I want to say, 1873 to 1902.
1873 to 1902. Mm-hmm. That's a long time.
That is a long time. Guess what was also happening in the 1880s in London during this time?
I
Very-
should probably know.
Very famous.
The Beatles?
Did you know that girls would literally piss themselves out of excitement at their concerts? So the whole place would just smell like piss. Sorry. I watched a Beatles documentary. What the fuck? Yeah. Because they thought the Beatles were like so cute and like they were so, the world had Beatle fever or whatever.
I've never been like,
They would
wow, that
literally-
person's so hot. I'm literally going to piss myself right now.
Well, their concerts were
And
so
then
packed.
actually piss myself. And that's never happened.
You thought about it, but you didn't actually do it. Well, their concerts were so packed that like it was probably hard to get to the bathroom too.
Well, okay, that's just a logistics issue. That's not like a,
Anyways.
oh my God, they're so hot. I literally pissed myself. That's I cannot physically get to the bathroom, and so I'm going to piss myself. And also, wow, they're so hot. I think it's correlation,
literally-
not causation.
They're pissing themselves out of excitement, and then the Beatles are up there like, "Oh God, it smells like piss in here, bro."
Hey, who pissed? And then all of them.
What were we talking about? Oh, the paramedic pulling you out of the car. Bro, it smells like piss in here. The Beatles up on set. Bro, it smells like piss in here. Anyways, so the perpetrator of the Thames Torso Murders wasn't the only killer loose in London at the time. Like,
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah,
That's
sorry.
what it's going to be. Yeah, sorry.
I-
You said as soon as you said London, I was like, Jack the Ripper. Yeah.
I literally asked you what else was going on during this time period
You
in
said
London.
in Europe.
I said in London.
Did you?
Roll back the tapes. Guess what was also happening in the 1880s in London?
Bullshit.
I'm pretty sure I said London. But yeah, Jack the Ripper. He was also operating at the same time in London's East End. Okay, so mind you, I wrote this case like months and months ago, maybe like a year ago even. I, for some reason, felt the need to put in the note, I ain't never seen two pretty murderers. Always one of them gotta be ugly.
Definitely Jack the Ripper would have been ugly. I mean, he's ugly in the anime that I watched. He was like Edward Scissorhands mixed with like Dr. Octopus. It was crazy.
Oh shit. Okay, I hate that.
No, yeah, it was terrifying.
London in the 1880s, just not a place you want it to be. Lots of murder happening.
Not a great place if you're trying to be a victim, but if you're trying to be a murderer, good place.
Perfect place. Even though there's a lot of murder, though, people were still shocked when a woman's dismembered torso was found on the banks of the River Thames near the town of Raynham in May of 1884.
Yeah, they were still shocked.
What?
That's just funny, because you know, this just happens now.
Fuck. Another Tuesday, another torso. Anyways, they were shocked when a torso appeared on the bank of the River Thames. Throughout April and June, more of her remains would be found with the exception of her head and her upper chest. So it was like her actual like torso. Like she was missing her chest and then
Oh, what?
like the upper chest.
I
So
thought
like her
torso was,
collarbones. Yeah,
was
yeah.
like your
it is, but she was
bottom of
missing
your ribs to like your collarbone or something.
Yeah, it was her torso, but she was missing like her collarbone area. So that's like the upper chest, and she had no head. So
oh my god.
They never found these other parts of her body, so her head or her upper chest, which I mean, I'm assuming they're still connected. So her just like from the collarbones up, they never found. And it's unknown if the killer discarded those body parts somewhere else. Or, I mean, yeah, because we don't know.
Brought them into a cave, fed his children them.
If he kept them as a trophy, I don't know.
Mounted on the wall like a freaking, like a deer.
Jesus Christ. Do you know how many killers keep stuff from their victims? Like Ed Gein, he made like a nipple lampshade and all sorts of stuff. Nipple belt. He just made clothes and stuff.
It's like a bunch of nipples together? Mm-hmm. That's wild.
Yeah, he made stuff out of their skin. Anyways,
damn. That's disgusting.
It's very gross. But you know what I also think though too is maybe he cut off her head so she would be difficult to identify. That's the thing, because this is happening in 1884. It's not like they're fingerprinting people on a regular basis. They don't know what DNA is yet. Like the face is how you identify someone. Mm-hmm. Like oftentimes if there was like a body found somewhere, they would take a photo of the dead body, put it in the newspaper, have it be identified. No head, no identification.
That's fucked up though. Just take a picture of them all gory and shit.
No. They like dress you up and like get you funeral ready. They would do that.
That's good. That's really good.
In my head, like when I'm reading and everything, I'm like, wow, you don't hear about murderers like this today. And it's probably because it's so much harder to commit murders like this today. Like you would be caught so easily. Like leave one strand of hair behind and you're caught. Like, no wonder there's so much more murder back then. You could just do it and then nobody would know. Fingerprints,
blood, teeth, hair.
Anyways, that was just an observation that I had while doing this whole case. Is like, oh, he cut off her head so she wouldn't be identified, because literally no way to identify somebody besides their face at this point. Anyways.
But it makes you think, like, why, if you can hide the head, wouldn't you want to just have none of the body found?
Well, he doesn't want to be caught, but there's also a possibility he wants to flaunt, like, I'm doing this and you can't stop me too. That happens a lot with killers as well, where they want recognition for their crimes, but they don't want to be caught per se. Like Jack the Ripper would send letters to the local newspapers. Like, he's actually the one who named himself Jack the Ripper. He would be like taunting the newspapers and things. But again, you couldn't identify him. But he wanted to be recognized. So, anyways, just something I thought of. But the woman herself was never identified. Like I said, they couldn't identify her. And the murder would become known in the papers as the Raynham Mystery. The second canonical murder of the Thames River Killer would come to light between September 11th and October 17th of 1888. So this is 4 years after the first murder. And when I say canonical, because there are some murders that are widely assumed to be
copycat or something?
to be the Thames River killer himself, and to be carried out by the same person. But there's also some similar murders that happened around the time that for some reason or another, police at the time were not 100% sure that they could be attributed to the Thames River killer. So, canonical, we know that it's the same person who committed all of these murders.
So there probably is more, though.
There are probably more, and I will talk about them later.
Ones that they can, like, confirm or whatever.
Yeah, but for some reason, back then, with the technology and everything they had, they couldn't confirm it 100%. So, the second canonical murder, though, 1888. From September 11th through October 17th, the dismembered remains of a woman were discovered at 3 different sites in the center of London, including the future site of the Scotland Yard, which is interesting. Do you know what the Scotland Yard is?
Mm-mm.
It's like the headquarters of police for London. It's like really famous.
Oh, okay.
It's like the big police building or whatever. This incident is called the Whitehall Mystery, and the first appendage to be found was the right arm and shoulder of a woman on the banks of the River Thames in Pimlico, which is kind of a borough area of London. It was initially thought that the arm was put there by, as a prank by medical students, but worst prank ever.
What?
This is not the first time that this has happened where people are like, this is a prank by a medical student. Are you kidding me?
Hell?
Read the room, guys. There's 2 murderers active in London right now. Don't just be leaving your cadavers everywhere.
I mean, even if there weren't murders going on already,
that's just the worst prank to play ever.
Why the fuck would you assume that?
Let me leave this dismembered body piece over here.
They're like, it's just the psychotic medical students.
Oh, medical students will be medical students.
Traumatizing everyone again. What the fuck?
I know. Imagine you're just going to the park and there's just a full-on cadaver just in the park. That would just scar you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, definitely.
Seeing a dead body outside of anywhere besides a hospital is just jarring.
And then if maybe I'd be okay. No, I'd still be scarred. But I'd be more okay if somebody popped out with a camera and was like, "Oh, look, it's a prank."
No,
I'd still be messed up, but I wouldn't be as messed up.
I guess, but that's not even this isn't even the first case I've covered where they're like, "Oh, maybe it was a prank. These dismembered body pieces." And it's no, okay. Nobody's leaving out dismembered body pieces as a prank to be like, "Oh, maybe there's a murderer."
Yeah, nobody's doing that.
That's the worst prank ever.
I want my body donated to science.
Anyways, later on, police would find the torso belonging to the same victim and as the arm on October 17th. And a reporter, with the help of a police dog, found the left leg of the victim cut above the knee. And it was actually found buried next to the construction site of the Scotland Yard. So, partially kind of a mocking of the police there.
Shit, yeah.
Burying dismembered body parts on the place that would become their headquarters. So the next incident would occur on June 4th of 1889, and this is known as the Elizabeth Jackson murder. So the Elizabeth Jackson murders in June of 1889. On June 4th, a torso was found in the Thames, and more body parts were found in the following week. Again, if you're squeamish, this is probably the most gruesome
Tap
part.
out.
Yeah. It's an excerpt from the London Times issue published on June 11th, 1889. Quote goes, "Remains found so far are as follows. Tuesday, left leg and thigh off Battersea. Lower part of the abdomen at Horsley Down. Thursday, the liver near 9 Elms. Upper part of body in Battersea Park. Neck and shoulders off Battersea. Friday, right foot and part of leg at Wandsworth. Left leg and foot at Limehouse. Saturday, left arm and hand at Bankside, buttocks and pelvis off Battersea, right thigh at Chelsea Embankment, and yesterday, right arm and hand at Bankside."
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's at least 2 people, right?
No, it's still just one person.
That's one person?
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of pieces.
Shit.
And it's a puzzle I would not like to have to put together.
Hell no.
Yeah. But somebody had to do it, because the coroner...
What the fuck?
The coroner, who matched all of the body pieces to one another, is the one who made the crucial realization that whoever was committing these murders had to have some sort of anatomical knowledge. So again, this all came from one woman.
Why?
Just one person.
Because they know how to use
because
a
they
saw?
know how to. Because it was dissected in such a way that it was easier. Because there's parts of your body
like in Dexter, is like there's no blood.
Well, because parts of your body
Yeah.
are going to be harder to cut through. Like, you can't cut through
Yeah.
bone. It's going to be easier if you know where the joints are, you know where the
Oh,
bones are in your body.
And they'd done that. Damn.
Which, of course, narrowed down their suspect pool to anybody with any sort of anatomical knowledge. And the coroner wrote this in
Maybe
his
it
report.
was a medical student.
Oh.
It's still just a medical student prank.
Oh, God. Worst prank ever.
They're like, look how much we know about the human body. We know exactly where to cut.
Jesus Christ. The coroner wrote this in his report, quote, "The division of parts showed skill in design, not, however, the anatomical skill of a surgeon, but the practical knowledge of a butcher or a knacker." And a knacker.
Of a librarian.
A library. A knacker is somebody who takes care of, like, dead animal carcasses. Like, if your horse dies, they chop them up for you and take them off.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyways, there is a great similarity between the condition as regarded cutting up of the remains and that of those found at Rainham and at the new police building on the Thames Embankment. AKA, they're pretty sure that all of these murders were committed by the same person because they have similar cutting patterns. That was the coroner report.
Even the ones from all the way back in the
1884 was the first murder.
And so they like knew the cuts from then were the same? Mm-hmm. Dang.
Showed the like same level of knowledge, same skill.
Wow.
And while the head of the victim was never found, she was identified as Elizabeth Jackson, a sex worker from Chelsea, who was actually 8 months pregnant at the time.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. Obviously nothing good. But if you want some at least positive aspect, Elizabeth's death did help the police narrow down the suspect list to those with anatomical knowledge. And she's also the one who linked all of these murders together because before it was unknown if these were all committed by the same person because you just have two murders to compare from. But when you add that third in, you can kind of connect the dots a little bit better. And
I don't think that's really a silver lining,
Well,
but, you know.
I mean, yes, her death was awful and gruesome and horrible, but it did help police kind of narrow down the suspect pool. You never want another victim, but the more victims you have, the more usually that you have in the case, the more knowledge you have about the case and like the killer himself and like how he kills.
Yeah.
Anyways, lastly, in the canonical murders of the Thames River Torso Killer, this is a killer for my fucking...
This is wild.
What? I was gonna say, this is so hard for me to pronounce everything. I feel like I talk too
That's
fast
what you
sometimes. Yeah. this is a killer talking episode for me. Because I don't know, I feel like I talk too fast and then my tongue can't keep up with my brain, so then I just spew gibberish all the time. Anyways. The canonical murders of the Thames River Torso Killer. The last murder is the Pinchin Street Torso Murder. On September 10th, 1889, police find the headless and legless torso of an unidentified woman under a railway arch at Pinchin Street, Whitechapel. They can tell from the scene that the woman's remains were discarded there and she was murdered and dismembered somewhere else. There's no blood at the scene.
Still no head, right? That's what you said.
Yeah, headless and legless. She has her arms, though. Extensive bruising above
Silver
the victim... Extensive bruising about the victim's back, hip, and arm indicated that she had been severely beaten shortly before her death, which had also occurred approximately 1 day prior to the discovery of her torso. So she likely was held captive and beaten the day before and then murdered the second day.
Did we see that in the other ones? Were they beaten too? No? Just this one?
No, I didn't see it noted anywhere, but that's not to say that they weren't bruised. I don't. Maybe I just didn't find that, but...
Okay.
That was not noted in any of the other ones.
They know that she was probably held captive and beaten.
Yes.
Jesus.
She was beaten at least a day before her death. And maybe she wasn't captive. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
But the victim's abdomen was also extensively mutilated in a manner reminiscent of the Ripper, although her genitals had not been wounded. So if you know
was
anything...
that a thing that the Ripper did?
Yeah, if you know anything about the Ripper, he was notorious for mutilating the genitals of his victims, but also just mutilating them in general. And that's one of the major differences in the MOs of these two killers, because they're operating at the same time in London. But that's kind of the differentiation between these two killers, is that Jack the Ripper is incredibly like violent and mutilates his victims, whereas the Thames River Torso Killer, this is the first victim that he's mutilated. He typically will just dismember them. which is, I guess,
Yeah.
still mutilation, but not the same, you know?
But it's more like calculated rather than just like releasing,
Just
violent
pent-up
energy
anger.
or what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, well, Jack the Ripper wouldn't dismember his victims per se. He would almost dissect them in a way, but he wouldn't dismember them like the Thames River Torso Killer does, if that makes sense.
Jeez.
Yeah. So that really sets him apart for police as opposed to a single murderer operating in London at the time. And despite the search of the area, there were no other remains found. They never found more of her body. But from the torso alone, they estimated her to be about 30 to 40 years old. And there's some speculation in the newspapers that the body belonged to a woman named Lydia Hart, who had disappeared. But this is actually refuted after she was found recovering in a hospital after, quote, a bit of a spree. She was just drunk. She was drunk and got reported as missing, so it wasn't her.
Oh,
but
God. Jesus.
Imagine you're like passed out drunk and you wake up and everybody thinks you're a dismembered torso.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Ooh. So really, out of the 4 canonical murders, only 1 victim was ever identified, and none of the victims' heads were ever found. So.
And that was the most... Wait, no. The most recent one was the one that was identified?
No, it was
Or the second most. The one that had 1 million body parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
that was
Elizabeth.
That was the sex worker.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Shit, man. Do you think that's because they had the whole body? Did they not have the head for that one?
No, they didn't have her head for that.
But they still were able to...
Mm-hmm. Probably because she was also 8 months pregnant, so that would have made her kind of stand out a little bit more.
Yeah, true.
Especially as a sex worker being pregnant.
Uh-huh.
And it's also it's possible too that maybe she could have had tattoos or something, because at the time, back then they were called prostitutes, but like sex workers were often the only people with like tattoos and things like that. Sex workers and criminals, quotes. I put that in quotes. Yeah. Criminals. Those were typically the people who had tattoos back in that time. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That would be definitely helpful to identify someone.
Mm-hmm. So really, out of the 4 canonical murders, 1 victim identified, none of the heads found, and it makes you wonder if he keeps the heads as trophies, because again, we don't really know. But I don't know. A lot of killers do that though, to like relive their fantasies in some sick way. They take like article of clothing, photos.
I wouldn't want a body part. I'd rather take an article of clothing, because then it's not going to get all...
He said,
disgusting.
If I was a murderer, I think I would take... Bruh.
I mean, just like... That's gross. Like, it's going to get all rotten and nasty. Like, yeah. That's disgusting.
Well, I mean, we don't know what he's doing with them.
Pickling them.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, no.
Just hear those bones are jingling. Cannibals pickling, too.
So good.
Anyways. He could have kept the heads to bury them or burn them, because again, 1880 is hard to identify anyone anyways. So if you take their heads, they're probably never going to be identified. So he probably just disposed of them in another manner to keep it separate from the bodies, so they wouldn't be put together. And if that was the goal, I mean, he accomplished it. They only ever identified Elizabeth. So. Okay, so those were the canonical cases, the cases we know were done by a single killer, aka the Thames Torso Killer. But I want to talk about the murders that are associated with him, but we're not entirely sure if he did them. These are murders that could have been done by the Thames Torso Killer, but police feel or felt in the 1880s that there wasn't enough evidence to really link them together. But looking back at it now, a lot of people associate these with him. Hold on. I could feel it. I held that in for a while.
It was brewing.
It was. Anyways, the first associated murder is the Battersea Mystery. The Battersea Mystery is the name given to 2 unsolved murders that took place in London in 1873 and 1874. So 10 years before the first known murder by the Thames Torso Killer.
Okay.
But
still in the same area?
Yes, everything is still in London.
Okay.
This is just 10 years prior to his first known murder. September 5th, 1873, the left quarter of a woman's torso was discovered by a Thames police officer near Battersea, which is a borough of London. Shortly thereafter, a right breast was found at 9 Elms, a head at Limehouse, and a left forearm at Battersea, and a pelvis at Woolwich, until almost a complete body of a dismembered woman had been found. Gosh, I cannot talk today.
Sorry, I was not listening. I was thinking about burrows, like if they're like moles or something, or like hobbits.
Okay.
Did you say? I heard you say a bunch of body parts. Was there a head in there?
Yes, they did find a head.
They did find a head? Oh,
Yep.
okay. Weird.
Again, they found all of these different pieces until most of a complete body had been found. Her nose and chin had been cut from her face, and her head had been scalped.
Nose and chin. Do you think that was to make it harder to identify?
Maybe. I mean, again,
like,
we
those
don't know.
Weird ass trophies. The nose and the chin.
Yeah, and her scalp.
And her. Oh my god.
I mean, maybe it was to not be able to identify her, but maybe again it was also just trophies, or we don't know.
Yeah.
9 months later, on June 1874, the dismembered body of a female was discovered in the River Thames at Putney, which is again another part of London.
Mm-hmm.
This corpse didn't have a head. Both arms were missing, and only one leg was attached to the torso. And the body had been treated with lime before being thrown into the river, which is different from the rest.
Treated with lime?
Mm-hmm. I don't
like
know.
Lyme?
Lime? But
lime?
I don't know. Maybe I just spelled it wrong, but I don't know. Isn't that like a preserving agent?
I know there's like lime that you put on like your roof to kill moss. And then there's also, like a lime.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Doesn't
but anyways,
matter. Something weird.
Yeah, it made this one stand out. He didn't do this with the rest of his victims. So both cases were never solved despite monetary rewards for information. And they remain unsolved to this day. The next associated murders are the Tottenham Court Road and Bedford Square mysteries. The Tottenham Court Road mystery was reported by the London Times on October 24th, 1884, which is 5 or 6 months before the first, confirmed murder. Because, again, he killed earlier in 1884. I believe May 1884 is his first confirmed kill. This one is 5 to 6 months later. And it's gruesome. This whole thing is gruesome, but this one is especially gruesome. The article reports that a woman's skull with flesh still attached and a chunk of flesh from a thigh bone were the only body parts found at this location. So they just found chunks of her.
Jeez. That sounds more like Jack the Ripper-y.
Yeah.
But the first two, that seems plausible, that 10 years before they would still be learning, or because the head's still there, but it seems, because they're dismembered, it seems more realistic to be just learning his MO or whatever, than the 6 months after the first kill that was dismembered and head was not found. So I feel like this one's less likely to be the same person. Maybe.
I could see that. But near Tottenham Court Road in Bedford Square, a woman's arm was found in a parcel, like a little package.
Oh, what the hell?
This arm had been tattooed, showing that it might have belonged to a sex worker. Because, I said before, typically these were the people who were tattooed back in that time.
Where was the parcel? Where was the package? What is... Oh, Jesus.
Let me get to it. And a human torso was found in a parcel by police in 33 Fitzroy Square 5 days later. The parcel was believed to have appeared between the hours of 10 and 10:15 in the morning. And 33 Fitzroy Square is actually a hospital and podiatry medical school.
Oh, my God.
They left it at a foot doctor hospital.
Fuck. They're like, fix it up.
Fix it up. This torso, because, that's what foot
help.
Doctors are for.
Jesus. What the fuck is wrong with this person?
And they actually had another parcel delivered to them containing the right arm, the right foot, and the left foot.
Okay, at least they got
and
the
the
feet.
right forearm of a single individual, which was another victim.
A different one? What the fuck? This is weird.
He's just sending parts places.
Okay, that seems like it would be the same person then.
That's very classic murderer though, to chop up your victim and then mail it to somebody.
Not classic murderer, classic
No,
serial
but that's
killer, right?
yes. Classic,
Yeah.
That's serial killer behavior.
Definitely.
That's something you'd see in a movie, it sounds fake.
Yeah.
Be a good plot line though. Males.
What's in the box? You know what's in the fucking box.
the only thing going through my head right when you said that was snakes on a plane.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't either. It's just what's in the
All I know is
box?
that there's snakes on
Snakes
the plane.
on a plane.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. Lastly,
What do
we
you mean?
have
There's snakes on a plane. Makes perfect sense.
the Les Mystères de Montreux and Lambeth Mystery. In his 2002 books, The Thames Torso Murders of Victorian London, Michael Gordon suggests that there may be a link to a murder in Paris in 1886, as well to another
1886.
murder in 1902. So again,
Is
these are
1886 right after the first confirmed?
yeah. So the first confirmed murder was 1884, and then another one in 1887. So this would have
Okay.
been right before the second one.
Huh. How far is Paris from London? Is that right next to it?
It's like a train ride away. I mean,
Okay.
everything in Europe is fairly close.
Yeah, I did know that, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's possible.
So this author, Michael Gordon, links the Thames Torso killer to this murder in Paris, as well as another murder in London in 1902. In November 1886, a woman's torso was found on the steps of the Montreux Church in Paris, and she was missing her head, legs, right arm, left breast, and uterus. In June of
That's
1902, a woman's torso was found in Salamanca Alley? I probably said that wrong. Whatever. In an alley in Lambeth, London. And those are all murders loosely associated with the Thames Torso killer, but again, can't directly be linked.
Dang.
Which I guess, like, okay, hold on, let me go back.
Like, low-key, all of those sound plausible.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I was just looking through because there's just random body parts everywhere. So I guess I don't even know how many actual victims this man had. I mean, from what we know, or from what I've read, technically those four confirmed murders, but
Sounds about
like
like
they're
10,
just getting random pieces everywhere. So how do you make sure that all of those pieces just belong to one person, you know?
Yeah,
like
because
you're
you
getting-
said it was cut, like, they got the torso, and then they cut below the knee. Mm-hmm. So, like, there's no, like, connection that you can find there.
And if
For
they're
that one,
like
there's probably multiple
relatively
like that, so.
if they're relatively the same like skin tone, like
Yeah.
like he could have
Or
killed
size or
he
whatever.
could have killed like 5 people and sent their body parts different places, or he could have killed 25 people. Like, we don't know. Like, each body part could have been from a different person. I mean, theoretically, if we're gonna go into the hypotheticals here, but I don't know. Again, I don't really know how many murders this person did. Anyways, but these are only loosely associated because the MO, the modus operandi, is so different between these murders and the canonical 4. Again, with like the sending in the packages and the like mutilation, their heads are left on, and the cuts as described are as being rougher and not as well done as the canonical 4. Like, this person didn't have the same anatomical knowledge.
Were those the earlier ones, or did that apply to even the 1902 one?
Even those. So the canonical
Even the later
4
ones?
are all known to be done by the same person. All of
Okay.
these other ones that I've talked about so far, for some reason or another, they just can't officially be associated. So,
Okay.
in the mutilation of sexual organs in like those associated cases, like the missing breast and the missing uterus of the last victim, the mailing the dismembered limbs to the podiatry hospital, they're just so far from what we see carried out in the canonical murders.
Yeah, because he buried it like at the what was going to be the police station, the Scotland Yard. He buried a leg, but he didn't like put it in a package, and he wasn't mailing anything.
Yeah, and there wasn't the same type of mutilation. There was a little bit of mutilation in the last canonical victim, but not this like dissection. If it makes sense.
Yeah, because the uterus, you got to take that shit out. Like,
And same with the like excising the breast. Like, chopping off the limbs makes more sense because it makes the body easier to carry. Like, it's movable that way. But
maybe they had
like,
really big boobs or something.
Oh my god. Jesus.
So I need to part this out. Jesus.
Why you say part it out like it's a fucking car?
I could sell these.
Oh shit. Oh my god. Heartless. Jesus Christ.
Breastless.
I'm gonna turn your mic off. Anyways, I personally don't think that these are murders carried out by the Thames Torso murderer. But I guess there are arguments that could be made for the opposite. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I think that early one, the 10 years prior to 1884. Mm-hmm. I think that one, the two. What is it? The mystery? The
1873 and 1874. I don't remember what they're called.
The something mystery. That one seems like it could be. It could be the Thames Torso killer.
The
Because
Battersea mystery.
Yeah, the Battersea mystery. That one seems like both of those could be him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
I could see that.
Reasonable one, I would say.
I think there were probably so many active murderers back at that time, because again, it's so hard to be caught. I don't know.
That's wild.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my case for the week.
That's good.
We need a good news story after that.
Definitely.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
That was pretty. That was pretty gruesome.
The sex worker that was dismembered. You're just like, her head was cut off. Her limbs were cut off. Jesus. There was so many parts. Like, how many parts in total was that? It was like head,
like
torso,
8 or 9.
hands, right? Hands, forearms. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Was the Hedgehog Village re-upload? Because you could definitely cover that again, because I want to hear about that again.
What one? Sorry.
The Hedgehog Village?
Oh.
That was dope.
I'm going to have to double check. I'll save that one.
Because I keep referencing it.
Okay. I'll do it. I'm
Hedgehog
pretty sure
milk
it's...
or whatever. Modus operandi. It's a Italian word for mode of operation.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So since we're doing some English murders, I thought we'd do an English good news story. We haven't done good news stories the past few episodes, I think.
No.
To be fair, the past few episodes were a little bit lighter, I think. Well,
the Cannibal Clan?
Cannibals weren't real. Those were
that's not fair though.
The bulldozer, I guess, was kind of heavy, but
nah, I mean,
it was
we had fun with
light
it.
and airy.
It was a fun family story. Yeah.
But since we did British murders today, I wanted to do a British good news story.
Oi, bruv, what's the good news?
This is titled "Prickly Business: The Hedgehog Highway That Knits a Village Together." It's from the Guardian.
Yeah.
From the Guardian by Phoebe Weston. Hedgehogs are lactose intolerant. This is the first lesson from my village safari around Kirtlington in Oxfordshire, home to the UK's longest volunteer-run hedgehog highway.
What did I say last time? How did they drink their mommy milk? How did they drink their mama's milk?
It just doesn't have lactose, but it's really cool. So we'll post pictures on the Instagram too, and we'll put them up on the screen for all of you guys watching the video episodes. But basically, this man was realizing that hedgehogs were going kind of extinct. Like hedgehogs were dying because they were being trapped in people's gardens and in different areas around the city.
I honestly didn't know they live in the wild.
Yeah.
For some reason, I just assumed they were just pets.
Because I had a pet hedgehog.
No, just because I've never thought about them as being
Yeah, they live in forests.
Wild animal.
Yeah, they live in forests in Europe, but also in Africa in the desert.
That's cool.
I had a pet hedgehog. Her name was Henrietta. I loved her so much. Anyways, so basically, this guy realized that that there were hedgehogs that were, being injured and things like that. So he got together the entire town and they made a hedgehog village, basically. So we'll post pictures, like I said, but there's they're almost like little cat doors cut out into people's fences so that the hedgehogs can run freely through people's yards to get to different areas. They have their own little bridge systems so that the hedgehogs can safely cross roads and things like that. It is literally so cute. They have all these little tunnel systems through stone walls and things. It's so cool.
It's amazing.
But I thought it was fun. Oh my God. They also have little stairs up to the holes that are cut out in the fences and stuff like that. It's so cute.
Yeah. And they're all different because it's they didn't just put a piece of pipe somewhere. They just
yeah, it's everybody
a little stone arch out of a cutout wood fence, or they cut the wood fence and then they put like little stones to make a little arch. It's so cute. And then there's like ramps, and it's so crazy.
Yeah.
That would totally like unite the neighbors, though. You know.
It has.
That's just so fun.
I'll read this last quote from the article. Kirtlington's Hedgehog Highway is an added eccentricity in the village, but it needn't be unusual. Along with cricket pitches and pubs. Oh my god.
We got pubs. Hedgehog pub.
Hedgehog highways could become part of the furniture of village life all over the country. You can feel, oh my god, I seriously can't talk. You can positively do something, and there's satisfaction in that, says Powell's. It's the guy who started the Hedgehog project. But
that's sweet.
I know. I miss Henrietta. R.I.P. Anyways, that's my case for the week.
That was sweet.
The murder or the hedgehogs?
The hedgehogs.
Okay.
The murder was horrible.
Yeah, I think
It's too many body parts.
What are you gonna do?
Not murder people.
That's true.
But if I
I
wouldn't cut them up.
Well, thank God for like DNA testing and stuff now. At least if I was murdered, you'd be able to know it was me.
Would they though?
Yeah.
A lot of people are falsely imprisoned though off of DNA.
Yeah, but not victims.
Oh yeah, true.
A lot of, there's fewer cases of falsely identified victims. So,
yeah.
Anyways, and on that note,
that's dope though.
We say our goodbyes. Good night to you all.
Do we have a normal goodbye?
No, I was gonna try and do a poem there, but I don't rhyme.
Oh,
I can't rhyme.
Good night. Good night, torso. Good night, arms.
What did I say?
Good night, head. We cannot identify because we don't have it. I don't know.
What did I say in the satanic tea episode?
Good night, owl. Good night, moon. Good night.
Oh, I said good night, owl. Good night, crow. Good night, testicles that will not grow.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because they made tea that made you infertile. Yeah, that was funny.
Anyways, and on that note, see ya.
Peace.
I got a piss, bruv. Urgency. And now, Archive would like to present a new segment titled A Sense of Urgency. How to hold in your piss to get tasks done faster, with your host, Bayli. Oh my god, did I tell you I almost pooped myself on the way here from school?
Yeah, you did. You texted me.
I could not focus on anything. I'm blind, and so driving normally
what happened to
is
sense
hard.
of urgency? Which is not a good thing to have while you're driving.
I've already said this does not apply when you're driving. Sense of
Really?
urgency. Yes, I said that in the other episode. Sense of urgency doesn't apply while you're driving.
That's good.
It only applies when
That's
you have another
dangerous.
task to focus on. Because when you're driving, you have to be focused on driving. But like, I could. Yeah.
I focus on the music.
Wait, that's not even at all what I was trying to explain. I meant to say when you're driving, you can like zone out. Like there's nothing to focus on. You know, because it's like muscle memory now. Like you know how to drive, just like instinctually now.
I do.
Okay, I do most of the time too. but what I'm saying is like you have to have another task to like take your mind off of the urge of having to pee.
Yeah.
Which gives you the sense of urgency.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And when you're driving, you can't really do that.
Yeah, you have to just be focused on how much you have to pee.
You can't like pace around or.
Yeah.
Which is not good. Like I don't like pacing around when I have to pee really bad. I don't understand that about you.
I don't pace. I just I don't pace.
Like you
I
just sit there and you just like, do you pace inside your mind?
No, I just focus on whatever task I'm doing.
I can't.
And then
do
it
that
gives me a sense of
regularly.
urgency to finish the task because I'm like, oh, I can't pee until I finish this thing.
That's torture.
Sometimes I break down and I go pee, but
No. That sounds like some kind of Guantanamo Bay shit. Like you can't pee until you finish this task. Until you break these rocks up or something.
well, guess what, Guantanamo? You're not getting inside this head. I already do that. What is this, a daycare? Okay.
Guantanamo Bay? What is this, a daycare? Oh my god.
Anyways, my case this week. I want to get to my case.
Okay.
Anyways, okay.
My case this week is Casper's non-existent dingleberries. Just kidding. I'm not doing a case.
Oh my god,
this
did I
week.
tell you I almost avocado, and then they fit together.
Feel the avocado, guacamole.
Anyways.
Guacamole.
Okay, switching legs.